Hey guys, Frank here from Ethical Property Partners, where we help you to make annual returns from property on a monthly basis. So this is me. I've just dropped my kids off at school. I should probably be more careful about videoing on school property, but I'm sure they won't tell me off. Coming to you to talk about combining strategies when investing. So I know I'm a bit fluffy. I'm actually on my way to go and get my hair cut. Probably the longest hair I've ever had in public, actually. But combining strategies with property is so important. Often people say, how do you find these amazing deals? Well, these amazing deals are actually all around us. It's just that people don't know how to structure them. So I'm going to give you an example. It's a deal of Maddie's in Northampton. I'll describe it to you and then I'll ask how you would monetize it. And on the face of it, I'm not going to give you any numbers. I'm just going to give you the lowdown on the property. And on the face of it, it looks like a traditional deal where you're just going to have to put your deposit in and buy it and rent it out as a single ST. And then I'm going to show you how we made it work using several different strategies. So 3-bedroom semi with 2 reception rooms. It had a large back garden, decent front garden, 1 parking space, really standard 1980s wimpy home kind of development. On the market for about 180, worth about 180. Had been sat there for quite some time, about 12 months or so. So it possibly wasn't worth 180, probably worth 180 done up, and it was in a bit of a tired state. So what can you do with that? It rents out for something in the region of 900 a month, 800 a month, something like that. What can you do with it? Well, a lot of investors would put their 25% deposit in and buy it and earn a pretty rubbish return. After mortgage and everything, you're probably on about 8% interest, 8% ROI, return on investment, cash on cash return on investment. And so 4%, that's pretty rubbish. That's 20 plus years to get your deposit back. So you're not going to get rich anytime soon doing that, for sure. So what can you do with that deal? That's my question. I'm deliberately not giving you any clues. I'm deliberately leaving it open for you so that you can rack your brains. If you're a regular subscriber, if you've watched lots of our videos, you'll have an idea of how you could structure that. If you have no idea, then this will be an enlightening episode for you, hopefully. So after the break, have a think about it, grab a pen and paper, jot down your thoughts, try and work it out, grab a calculator. I haven't given you many numbers, but I have told you it's in Northampton. That is a clue, actually. And then after the break, I'll tell you how Maddie actually monetized this property. Hey guys, welcome back. So let me tell you what we actually did with this property. First off, we turned it into a licensable HMO. So we used one of the ground floor rooms as a bedroom, which turned it into a 4-bedroom, 2-story licensable HMO. It was in a non-Article 4 area, so we could do that without planning permission. We actually have strategies to do it without planning permission, even if it was in an Article 4 area, but that is an episode for another day. So we now can put 4 people in the property, well, 4 sharers in the property, and that's how most people would monetize this property. However, what we did instead is we leased it to a charity. So we leased it at a rent that's slightly higher than the 4 sharers. Now, the reason we could do that is because we helped the charity to claim higher housing benefit for that property. Now, we call this smart housing benefit. Many people don't have a clue how to do this. So they just give an AST to the tenants and ask the tenants to go claim their own housing benefit. But that's not the way you should do it. You should sit down with your tenants and work out their eligibility. Now, in this case, because of the makeup of the people living in the property, there was an opportunity, and we worked with the charity on this, there was an opportunity to make an enhanced LHA claim. And so what we did is we made 2 separate claims on the property. So we had one claimant and then we had some other claimants as well. So actually we ended up with a 1-bedroom claim, which is much higher than a sharer rate, and a couple of sharers in the property as well, which was far higher as a claim, which elevated the money that the charity received, which meant that even though they were paying above market rent for the rent, they were actually still making a profit. Obviously a charity can't make a profit, but they were making a surplus that enabled them to resource the property, enabled them to pay a part of someone's salary and to support their clients even better. Now that's one side of the transaction. The other side of the transaction is the property being worth 170, 180. What we actually did is we decided that the vendor didn't need all that money. Most people look at it and go, well, they're asking 180, so maybe I'll get it for 175, 170. We actually paid the vendor 190. And the way that we paid them 190 is we completed on the property using what's called vendor finance. So when a property is unencumbered, you actually don't need any money to buy it. You can complete on the property. We did complete, or rather Maddie did. You can complete on the property using none of your own money because you use the vendor's money. Now that boggles most people's minds, but basically the vendor nominally, so on paper only, lends you, we bought it, or Maddie bought it for 190k, so above market value, perhaps even 20 grand above market value. So the vendor nominally, so on paper, lent Maddie 190k, and Maddie on paper paid the vendor 190k. Now obviously no money moves hands because it just goes round in a circle. The difference, however, is at the end of that money going round in a circle, Maddie has bought the property for 190k. Yes, she pays stamp duty on it, so yes, there's a bit of money involved there. Yes, you pay legals because you've bought a property. And yes, she has a mortgage now for £190,000. And yes, the vendor owns, instead of a property, the vendor now owns a piece of paper that owes them, that says that Maddie owes them 190k. So they've swapped a property worth 190k for a mortgage worth 190k. And that means they don't have to maintain a property. They don't have to worry about the liability of the property. They don't have any of the stresses of a property. They can move on with their lives. And if we had more time, I would describe why they were in that situation. But many, many vendors are in that situation where they just want none of the responsibility. And if you can take that property on, especially if you pay a bit more for it, they're over the moon. And so the way that Maddie structured this is she set the mortgage repayments. It's a zero interest mortgage. So it's a capital only repayment mortgage, which means that every month when she makes a payment, the balance erodes by 100% of that amount. It's a brilliant deal for us. It also gives the vendor an income, 15-year fixed income, guaranteed, backed by a first charge on the property. So like any other mortgage lender, they have a first charge on the property, which is brilliant for them. So the vendor knows they're getting a steady income for the next 15 years. Maddie knows, because she's leased this to a charity, that she's getting a steady income of higher than that every month, which is going to give her a relatively passive income because the charity are managing the property. They're moving people in, moving people out. They're looking after the internal maintenance, excluding the boiler. All Maddie has to do is look after the exterior of the property. And so guys, that gives you an insight, a 5-minute, 6 minutes now, insight into the deal and how we structured it. Very, very simple when you know how to do it. Quite hard when you're faced with what looks like a traditional investment you can't do anything with. But it's just practice, guys. It's just practice about looking at these situations, looking at these vendors and working out sophisticated solutions. If this episode's been of value to you, please do hit the subscribe button. If you know someone that would benefit from these kind of insights, this kind of education, please do share it with them. It'll help us to grow the channel, and the more investors we can help, the better. If you have questions, pop them below. Please don't take the mick out of my hair. It'll be fixed in half an hour. And until next time, happy investing.